Hey everyone, Nick at Dad the Prof here, coming to you on this. It's an absolutely gorgeous day out today in my location. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. I wanted to make a video today on the heels of our 2024 presidential election. In the aftermath of the election, there was a lot of excitement on the part of people who got election results they wanted, and a lot of fear and like sadness and despair on the parts of people for whom the election didn't go the way they wanted. And I mean, you're going to have that every year. I've been voting for, I don't know, like close to 30 years, and there are sometimes my candidates win and other times they don't, and it just feels different this year. So I just wanted to make a video because of the kind of different vibe that I've been getting from friends and, like on social media as well, and just kind of media in general, things that we see and hear. And with this video, I'm trying to be helpful with regard to specifically helping friends who are maybe more Democrat, left, progressive in their political perspectives, to try to help understand like what is it maybe that's at the heart of Republican, right, or conservative thought on some particular matters. And so I've tried to solicit questions that people may want to ask that are oriented towards the right-leaning voter, I suppose. And so I've compiled some of these questions, and I'm going to attempt to address some of them as best I can, and just using generalities, really, of course. And it's all meant to be helpful and encouraging, and to provide context for people. So let's get to it. So one person told me that they're nonpartisan. They're not Democrat or Republican. They are a voter, and they just said that I basically know for me that I've not been happy since COVID. COVID wasn't handled well. I've not been happy with inflation, and things just haven't been going well in general. I don't know if, this particular person said, I don't know if changing hands, political power changing hands will make anything better. But they just knew that they didn't like how things were going lately. And the answer is, and this is coming from someone who's nonpartisan, and it's like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people when you just talk casually wherever you are. It could be someone you're waiting in line next to at the store. You just get some small chit chat going. You may go, man, I can't believe how expensive eggs have gotten, or man, the price of gas lately. Goodness, like those are just the types of things that most people tended to think about, at least in many of my experiences. So yeah, that comment is right along the lines of that. Absolutely. Someone else who contributed a question basically said, how can people support someone that seems so heartless, like meaning President Trump? Knowing that we don't know him personally, we know him as best we can, presumably. That may beg questioning. But knowing him as we do via the media, he comes across as heartless, cold. And, so this person has asked, in the context of that, how is it that someone could vote for such a person? And, don't we deserve to expect bigger, better decorum, behavior, and so on from our elected officials? And the answer is that I'll offer is, yeah, I mean, I don't think any politician is perfect, and I don't believe any person is perfect. And that's not hating on people. It's just acknowledging that people are not perfect. Nobody is. And at the same time, so number one, and number two, at the same time, yeah, I mean, out of our elected officials, they are humans and they are people. And at the same time, we do have a measure of higher expectation for their behavior, for their decorum, because they represent the people and they're put in a position of public trust when they are elected to occupy some government post or office. Absolutely. I think that's 100% reasonable. I think where it came with President Trump, yeah, and there are a lot of things that he says and does that make people kind of go, oh, man, why do you say that? Do you really believe that? And I don't know if it's a sense of humor that he has or just, there's so I totally understand this. But at the same time, enough of the nation decided, you know what, we're willing to tolerate that because of the broader set of changes and things that he brings into office. That's how the country went. Evidently, the country's fine saying, you know what, and I don't think this is me also. I don't think you have to like somebody necessarily to um, know that they may be in favor of doing things in a way that you would like to see them done. I hope that makes sense. Just because you vote for somebody doesn't necessarily mean you condone every action they've ever taken and everything they've ever said. Just like ourselves, we know that we are flawed, and we know that there's things that we've done that we're proud of, and things we've done that we're not proud of. And so I think it's probably a matter of, yeah, he comes off this way, abrasive, maybe unlikable. I mean, I don't know his heart. I've heard anecdotes that he has done wonderful, good things as well. He gives to charities. So there's, like, I know there's a lot of stuff that we don't hear about anybody in the media, right alongside stuff we do hear about. So um, I mean, I hope that helps provide some context a little bit. I think ultimately maybe it comes down to, whose outlook on how to run government best matches with the voter and what they want, and maybe sometimes that's when personal preferences of the type, that this person is asked about, maybe that's where those things kind of get tolerated or perhaps, just uh, pushed to the side, honestly. So yeah, not, I don't know that I have a great response for that, but that's the one I've got. Another question offered or comment was basically, I really didn't like either of any of the candidates. One person's not a typical political bureaucrat. It's a business person, and people who run businesses, especially like high level, like big businesses, I mean, they sometimes they have an edge to them. I mean, just being honest. Steve Jobs, for example, I don't know a whole lot about him, but I've heard that as successful as he was as a business person, he did rub people the wrong way. But I think you could find that a lot in very high level achieving people. Again, not hating on that. I just think it's kind of interesting to note that um, we we want to find someone who's got a good heart and good ethics and does things exactly how we want them done. And sometimes we get that, and sometimes we don't. And but anyway, back to this person's comment. Didn't like any of the candidates. Uh, Thought that one was just the non-typical political um, candidate, business person, did things coming from the business world. The other candidate was just thought of as like telling you a lot of what you want to hear, but not really in it for the people, the little person, if you will. And just thinking government's helping with government programs, but it's not really helping because it just kind of keeps people dependent upon the government, and it just becomes a big vicious cycle. So one comment about just the stark differences, but neither of the major candidates really offering something that was, really really good that you could really grasp and sink your teeth into. Another question that I received, this is a good one, and the question surrounds attitudes related to um, gun access. And the question was, of course, everyone wants to be safe in public, but it seems like Republicans tend to be more opposed to increasing the legal age to be able to buy firearms. They tend to be opposed to expanded background checks. So this question was surrounding why is that? And in terms of public safety, everyone wants to be safe. No one wants to be looking over their shoulder. No one wants to be scared when you go anywhere, certainly. I don't know what the argument is against increasing legal age from 18 to like 21, for example, to buy a firearm. I don't know what the argument against such a proposal is. I'm not sure about that. It seemed like to me, it seems to be fairly reasonable to at least have the conversation. Like, what does it hurt to increase the age to buy a firearm from 18 to 21 years of age? So I don't know that I have a good answer for that. I just don't know what the counter argument is for why that wouldn't be a good idea or why it would be ill-advised to go that direction. I'm not sure. Background checks are necessary. They are conducted. They should be conducted when sales are occurring. And I mean, I know that because it's human based as a system, that doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect either. Anything with human fingerprints will have flaws. And I don't know, I'm not an expert on background checks and all that. And I'm not necessarily looking for a big education on it all, like, for this video. But there should be reasonable background checks in accordance with the law before someone legally buys a firearm. Okay. That said, then you have the issue of access. And guess what? People who want to have a firearm don't worry about the laws. They'll find a way to get one. They'll steal it. They'll buy it on the black market. And that happens all the time as well. So they'll gain access to guns that are in their home that are they're supposed to be restricted from having. So those things are true as well. Rounding out the questions that I received, and this one wasn't necessarily like outcome of the presidential election in nature, but it was asking, since I am in Texas, about Texas secession. And occasionally you hear people saber rattle here in Texas about like seceding, and I think it's just like people beating their chest and acting strong and everything. I don't think there's any seriousness to that. I don't support such a thing. I mean, it's great to be an American, and it's great to be living in Texas. We can have our cake and eat it too. We're Americans first and foremost, and then Texans in addition. So how cool is that? So yeah, I mean, whenever someone says Texas ought to secede, I'm like, yay, that's kind of a fun idea, isn't it? And then you get back to normal thinking. So yeah, there's just nothing to this. Any time that topic comes up, it really doesn't gain any kind of traction. I think it's just small pockets of people that probably just like hearing it spoken out loud more so than intentionally embracing the reality of what it would look like and what it would mean. I mean, there's just nothing to that. So, but it's kind of interesting to think about sometimes. But nope, there's just nothing to that down here in Texas. So, so kind of wrapping up this video, wherever you are in life right now, I'll tell you, I'll be honest, this is the most I've thought about an election this far after the election. And again, we're at plus 10 days after the election now. And I just now am finishing kind of emotionally like processing it. Nick, why emotional? What do you mean? Did you cry? No, I didn't cry about it. For me, I just saw the anxiety and disappointment in so many people that I know and care about, and also in society broadly, where I felt badly for people because they felt so bad and gutted at the results. That's the reason why I have had a harder time negotiating my way through this election. Hurting, seeing other people hurting. Why does it hurt me to see other people hurt? Because I know that you are the most powerful person in your life. It's up to you to do the things that you are going to do in life. It's not dependent upon somebody else. You have agency. You look in the mirror and you do the things that you need and want to do in life. You do those things, not someone else. There's not some other person that's in control of that. You're in control of that. And that's, to me, what the hard thing was. Again, I voted for people that won. I voted for people that lost. Either way, I made peace with it within like a day or two, and then carried on with life. So that's the reason why, because I want people to be good. I want people to be um, uh, resilient. I want people to have agency and do the things that you need and want to do, because you are totally capable of doing those things. And be right with who you are. Continue to be invested in the things you care about and that you hold true and that you are passionate about. Continue to pour yourself into the things you care about. That should happen even if your candidate did win the election. Certainly, it should be happening if your candidate won, but even if your candidate lost, you should still be encouraged and do the work that you have to do day in and day out. And also too, I have a dear colleague who is historically inclined, and this person also said, the teachings of history is that there's ebb and flow. There are great times, and then there are not so great times, and these things run in cycles. And one person's great time is another person's, man, I don't like the things that we're doing these days. And then it's vice versa. So take heart and do the things day in and day out that you can do for yourself and for others. I think that's the main thing. So anyway, thank you for taking the time to watch this. And I would love to hear your comments and get your perspectives. Please offer them below. And certainly if you like this video and or others, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. I'd love to have you be part of our normal proceedings. So with that, peace and blessings to you, and I'll see you next time.